I don't know how many times I can keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. It was the players, not the manager. Don't you dare blame the manager on this one. Doncaster Rovers nil, Burton Albion 3. My name is Forever Football DRSC, your Doncaster Rovers fan channel. If you guys want to send in your fan cams, use the Instagram link, my Instagram in the description down below. Send in your video clips. Go to the length of whatever the videos, the maximum length needs to be for Instagram, sending videos privately on Messenger and stuff like that. But just try and get your thoughts out there. It don't have to be full player ratings like this one, but just get your thoughts out there. Keep it PG, landscape filming, just do all that. But yeah, let's talk about my thoughts on this game. That second half was appalling. The first half, I was thinking to myself, yes, that's like for the first time in 5-6 games, we've shown fight, desire, passion. We showed effort. We showed work rate. We showed a willingness to do something. Yes, we didn't get a goal in the first half, but we could have got a couple of goals if we took a couple of chances better. Then the second half, it's like we tried getting control of the game. Burton gradually got control of the game. And then for a 5-10 minute spell, we just completely collapsed. We just utterly collapsed. The first goal, it came from our corner, went down their end. They took a quick throw. They came in, cut inside, came out to Atkins, and he scored. And it's 1-0. And you're thinking, okay, you know what? Against the run of play, you'd arguably say, from the first half performance. But you know what? Let's regroup mentally and come back. But what did we do? The same thing we did for the last 5-6 games. One goal, we drop our heads. And then the second comes and the third comes. And for the second and the third goal, Ellery Balcom, you should have saved those goals better. You should have saved those goals better. And now, Butler, as a manager that gets criticised by most of this fan base, not including me, not including other fans, people that support Butler will say, you know what, as a manager now, he needs to look at that and think, right, Balcom's just cost me 2 goals, or been a part of costing me 2 goals, and wasn't at fault for the first goal, which was part of the 3. But after those 2 goals, and he should have saved them better, I need Lewis Jones starting in the next game on Saturday. If Balcom starts against Shrewsbury, what's the point? What's the point? Unless he puts in a good performance, what's the point? There was other performers that didn't play well. Taylor Richards, sometimes I barely noticed him when he came on. Bostock tired out in the second half and looked worse than the first half. Coppinger was worse in the second half than the first half. And, he gave away a pass that could have led to a 4th goal. And you're like, God, even Coppinger's making a mistake now. And that's rare sometimes. Bogle in the second half looked lost. It's like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Peril. He needs a map to find the lost goal net. He couldn't find the goal in the second half. Didn't get involved. Okunabiri, again, didn't get involved in the second half. It was just absolutely diabolical in the second half. We completely collapsed. And you know what? Fair play to Burton Albion, because they wanted it more in the second half. They fought for it. They went for it. They knew what they were fighting for. And now, I don't know what's happened in the other results, but before today, they were 10 points over safety. There were 10 points outside the relegation zone. I think by now it's between, 11 to 13 points clear of the relegation zone now with those wins, depending on what's happened in the bottom 4 with their games. But come on, man. That's our 10th game now, I think. Our 10th game, 9th or 10th game without a win. And that's 5 losses in a row. 5! I don't know what a win feels like anymore. It's like, imagine being an Arsenal fan sometimes. I don't even know what a win feels like anymore. I'm trying to find a laugh about it, but you can, if you can't find a laugh about it, you'll cry. And that's basically it. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. Because I care too much for this club, and I don't want to see it go to ruin. But the minute our season is filing away from us further and further and further and further. And the blame today goes down to the players. It does not go down to the manager. The manager set that team out right. He went with the 4-4-2. He couldn't do anything about the right-back situation. And funnily enough, Greaves, in my opinion, was my man of the match. 100% my man of the match. He was one of the players that did something today. I think the biggest worry for Rovers fans going into this match was Greaves and Horton, two young, inexperienced fullbacks. And they were the two best performers consistently from both halves in the pitch. Couldn't do anything about the goals they conceded. Couldn't do anything. Greaves and Horton were the best performers on that pitch out of both halves. It's unbelievable. And you saw the post-match reaction stream. People Bailey gave them a generous rating to some of those players, but I can't be generous today. I can't back that anymore. I can't be that generous anymore. So I'm going to go through these player ratings. This is the last review, hopefully, fingers crossed, on the phone. We're back to the office with the nice camcorder and the lovely new laptop to help me out before Friday's preview of Shrewsbury. God, I'll tell you what we need to do against Shrewsbury at the end, but let's go through this player rating, starting off with the substitution. Bearing in mind, we made one sub. One. And that's pretty much all we could do because Robertson didn't deserve to play any part today. Neither did Lakilo, neither did Gomez. So you couldn't really make a change apart from the one that we made, which was Bostock off for Taylor Richards. Richards looked lost, inept, devoid of ideas sometimes, had some moments, but that's about it. Individual spells for a few seconds, that's about it. I'm going to give him a 5. That's just being a little bit more generous. I would have given him a low 5, heading towards a 4 nearly, but he did rescue it with a couple of spells in the attack. That's about it. I'm going to give him a 5. Going into the starting 11, Balcom, 4. That's being generous. Gave away 2 goals. Couldn't do anything really for the first one. And just overall, bad performance. Jones should be starting on Saturday. If not, don't know why. Fullbacks on the left, Horton, I'll give him a high 6. Did well. Wasn't really at fault for the goals that was conceded. And tried his best. He tried his best with what he could do. Greaves, I'll give him a high 7. He was man of the match, in my opinion. Smash a like if you think that Greaves was man of the match. Just overall, did very, very well. Got in there, not afraid to put in a tackle. Did you see that tackle that got yellow card for in the first half? Oh, we've got an exciting young player on our hands in AJ Greaves. A wonderful young talent. Let's use him. If none of the low knees are doing it and Halliday's back in at right back, and none of the low knees are doing it anymore, get Greaves in that squad because I guarantee he'll put a better performance in. He gets 7 out of 10. The centre-backs, right, I'm going to give him a 6. Overall, all right. Nothing too much to shout about. Anderson, again, I'll probably give him a high 6, going into a 7 nearly. I think that's the best I could give him. He was committed. He was one of the only players, along with the youngsters, that was committed all the way through that game. Looked like he wanted to play for the badge, dedicated to the badge of the shirt. He'll come out and say that's embarrassing if he's coming out and saying, if he's going to come out and say something today. Anderson will agree with me that was embarrassing from the players today. And he won't be afraid to not say it because he's actually standing up for the love of the club, and that's what we want from our captain. Midfield, Smith, I'm going to give him probably a high 6 again. I think that, again, his work rate was great. He was making stuff happen. He tried. It looked like he wanted to come off, but he didn't come off, obviously. But, yeah. Bostock that came off in the second half, I'm going to give him probably a low 6. First half was all right. Got higher up. Was quite deep in the last game, but first half he was higher up. Second half, just nothing really. Coppinger at one side of the wing, I'm going to give him a 6, a low 6. Second half was poor. First half was great, getting involved all the time. Same with Sims, going to give him a low 6. Same story, got involved first half, second half, hardly saw anything from him. Okanabiri, I'm going to give him a 5. First half was getting involved, pressing really well. Second half, pressed to start off with, and then just didn't get involved for the rest of the half. And then finally, Omar Bogle. I'm going to give him a 4. Just like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril, just lost without a map. It was just inept in the second half, devoid of ideas. You know, people will blame Bogle for today, but he wasn't involved in the goals he conceded. He just needed to take a couple of his chances better. But the first half, he was making great spins. He was getting involved in the build-up play and trying to make things happen. Second half, just fell away with most of the squad. Manager Andy Butler, I've not really done a manager rating, but I'm going to start doing them next season. Andy Butler, I'm going to give him probably a 6, probably a high 6 going into a 7. I don't think there's anything he could have done wrong with that, to be honest, in terms of his end of the bargain. But the other, it's like a casino, isn't it? He held up his end of the bargain, and the players just went all in for nothing. And then finally, the referee. I'm going to give the referee a 6. He was all right. He didn't make any bad decisions, really. There was a couple of decisions where I was like, maybe not. The one in the first half, the one that caught me the most, was the Horton on the arm. You know, from the angle, it did look like it was the upper arm. Hang on, I need to put all my arm in shot. It looked like it was around that area rather than down the hand area. So, yeah, that one was a bit iffy, but apart from that, and that one led to a goal as well. But apart from that, just, yeah, I don't know, all right game, had the best decisions. So what do we need to do against Shrewsbury? I tell you what we need to do. We need to flaming win that game, because if we don't win, I think today was our 10th game without a win, and I think today, well, we know today is our 5th loss in a row, but I think it was 10 without a win. So I think Saturday, if we lose or draw, it'll be 11 without a win, and that is embarrassing. And I'll say this now. We lose to Shrewsbury and Accrington on the Tuesday next week, we'll definitely not get playoffs this year. And we have to just go again with whoever the brand new manager is going to be, with whoever the head of talent identification is going to be to replace Adam Henschel in the new season, and just get the whole recruitment, get the whole senior management team ready for next season, because this season's just a write-off. Darren Moore walked out. I'm glad he got beat today by Swansea in the Championship. But Darren Moore walked out. Assistant Jamie Smith walked out. Ben Whiteman was sold, and just everything fell apart this season. And, you know, it's kind of like Hull a bit as well. Do you remember Hull back in the Premier League in 2008-09 under Phil Brown? Came out the league firing, and then second half of the season completely fell away and won one game in that first half of 2009, the end of that season, to limp over relegation. If we didn't have such a good form in the first half of the season, we'd have been right there in that bottom 4 battle, guarantees. But I saw a comment on the post-match reaction stream or something like that, says, if we lose on Saturday, we can end up going 16th or as low as 16th. Sorry, from where we were the first half of the season, that is embarrassing. And there's no way of saying that any more politely. If we lose on Saturday and go 16th or around 15th, 14th, that's just absolutely embarrassing for this club. Absolutely embarrassing. And if whoever the new manager is going to be, my message to that guy is, very early on, bring joy back to this club and never, ever leave us. Show that loyalty remains in football and just stick with us and make us a great club again. So there we go, guys. This season's probably going to be a write-off now. Mid-table finish, just the same old usual. But there we go, guys. Thank you very, very much. Don't forget, if you want to send fan cams in, Instagram links in the description down below. Send your landscaped filmed videos in. Send it in, film it landscape. Send it in on Instagram to the closest length possible. PG, keep it family friendly with the content, with the language. And for now, guys, that is it. And now it's full time. Rovers till I die. Just hope and pray. Just hope and pray.